What's going on, guys? I'm the Walrus Jedi, and in today's video I will be talking the novelization of Star Wars A New Hope by George Lucas, and this book was ghost-written by Alan Dean Foster, and this book used to be titled Star Wars From the Adventures of Luke Skywalker. If you like this video, then please consider liking and subscribing for more book videos and other videos on Star Wars, games and books and movies and, all of that. And, there will be spoilers for this book. And now, I would like to read the prologue of this book. Prologue. Another galaxy, another time. The old republic was the republic of legend, greater than distance or time. No need to note where it was or whence it came, only to know that it was the Republic. Once, under the wise rule of the Senate and the protection of the Jedi Knights, the Republic throve and grew. But as often happens, when wealth and power pass beyond the admirable and attain the awesome, then appear those evil ones who have greed to match. So it was with the Republic at its height. Like the greatest of trees, able to withstand any external attack, the Republic rotted from within, though the danger was not visible from outside. Aided and abetted by restless, power-hungry individuals within the government and the massive organs of commerce, the ambitious Senator Palpatine caused himself to be elected President of the Republic. He promised to reunite the disaffected among the people and to restore the remembered glory of the Republic. Once secure in office, he declared himself emperor. Shutting himself away from the populace, soon, he was controlled by the very assistants and bootlickers he had appointed to high office, and the cries of the people for justice did not reach his ears. Having exterminated through treachery and deception the Jedi Knights, guardians of justice in the galaxy, the imperial governors and bureaucrats prepared to institute a reign of terror among the disheartened worlds of the galaxy. Many used the imperial forces in the name of the increasingly isolated emperor to further their own personal ambitions, but a small number of systems rebelled at these new outrages, declaring themselves opposed to the new order. They began the great battle to restore the old republic. From the beginning, they were vastly outnumbered by the systems held in thrall by the Emperor. In those first dark days, it seemed certain the bright flame of resistance would be extinguished before it could cast the light of new truth across a galaxy of oppressed and beaten peoples. From the first saga, Journal of the Wills. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Naturally, they became heroes. Leia Organa of Alderaan. Senator. I read that little, that part because, it's not in the movie, obviously, and it does set some background for the book and that, and it's actually really interesting. And it is a difference between the movie and this book because, but yeah, and I thought that was a nice little thing to start the book out with. So now I'll go into the characters. Pretty easy if you've seen the movie. It's Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Chewbacca, C-3PO, R2-D2, Darth Vader, and Grand Moff Tarkin. Those are all of these characters push the story forward to some degree. And I guess you can include Obi-Wan in that as well. So those are your major characters. And, the story, it's A New Hope. The droids get the plans to the Death Star from Princess Leia. They take an escape pod to Tatooine. They get captured by Jawas. Luke's Uncle Owen buys them. And then they go find Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan and Luke and the droids, they go to Tatooine, or they go to Mos Eisley, find Han Solo. He takes him to Alderaan. Alderaan blows up. They go to the Death Star, rescue the princess, and then go to the Rebel base on Yavin 4. And then they analyze the plans. They send out all the X-Wings and the Y-Wings. They blow up the Death Star. And Han, Luke, and Chewie are heroes to the rebellion. The end. I think it'd be much more interesting to kind of talk a little bit about the differences of this book versus the movie. And first up, you have the first scene with Luke in the book. He's actually fixing a moisture evaporator, and we see him. He's using some binoculars to look up in the sky of Tatooine as the Star Destroyers chasing down the Tantive 4. So that's what we see Luke of first, and then later on he goes to Anchorhead, and he goes to tell his friends about the battle. The battle by then is already over, so they're like, "Oh, Luke, you're such a loser, wah wah." But then Biggs is there, and Biggs is actually, I would argue, a friend, because the other chuckleheads there strike me as friends. But whatever, that's irrelevant. And Luke and Biggs talk, and we find out Biggs is going to join the rebellion and that, and Luke wants to go, but he can't because he's got to stay and farm. And both of those scenes are deleted scenes. And then the next one is you have Blue Leader or Red Leader in the movie. He tells Luke that he flew with Anakin, Luke's dad, in the Clone Wars. And this is another deleted scene in the movie. I think this was cut because of I don't think George wanted that connection. I think he changed his mind on that connection. It's an interesting little scene, kind of cool. And obviously one of the differences is that you have Blue Squadron in the novelization is Red Squadron in the movie. So Luke is, instead of Red 5 in the movie, in the book he's Blue 5. So yeah, it's a little confusing. And they, instead of sending 2 squads of ships, they send 4. You have red, blue, green, and yellow. So it's a little different. And like all the other novelizations, the dialogue and that are very different. Sometimes it's the exact same, and other times it's completely different, but you understand, oh well, most of that was changed or whatever. So yeah, pretty good. And in this book it really does kind of push a little bit of like Luke and Leia as like the romance that would go forward. And I just find that kind of interesting. Now maybe an alternate version of the story, we could have had more of a love triangle between Han, Luke, and Leia to kind of who gets to end up with a relationship with Leia. Kind of interesting, but a little weird to read when they're brother and sister. It's a little weird, but they technically weren't brother and sister when this book was written, so can't fault it for that. That's about it. Yeah, I liked the novelization. It's pretty good. These novelizations have been pretty good. Good reads. So I'd give this book, a 7.5 out of 10. This is not the best novelization I've read. That's Revenge of the Sith easily. But it's pretty good. So yeah, definitely interesting because you do get a little bit of the thoughts of the characters. So I think it's a read. It's short. It's a quick read. It's 216 pages, so you should fly through that pretty quick. It's not too bad. So all in all, go ahead and read it. Well, what did you think of the book if you've read it? What is your favorite novelization? You can tell me in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, thanks for watching.